Hey guys, back with a discussion video today. I'm going to be talking about Powercreep, and I have a special guest on the channel. DatruthDT is here. What's going on?
Yo, there's a lot of craziness going on with Dokkan right now. They are not caring about making stuff busted again.
Yeah, for sure. And just so you guys are aware, we have a part 1 up on Truth's channel. So I'll leave a link to that in the description, and I'll probably pin a comment with that as well. So go check that out first before coming here, because we're going to be building off the discussion that we had over there. So we talked about the awakenings for the type units, the type support units in the last video. And so just rolling off of that discussion a little bit, I think I want to just talk about like power creep, and like we haven't really seen that much of a jump in power creep since Kill and Khalifa came out, obviously because it's dumb. I think you know that, right?
Yeah, there's just no way to follow them like that. They just it's just too like I definitely don't want to get into it because people they're tired of hearing about it, but they just do too much. Like it's hard to follow that.
Yeah, but I think something interesting too is if we look at the free-to-play units that are coming out recently, like even on Global, like Global is having the same sort of celebration as JP is in terms of awakenings and free-to-play units, other than the type supports. Like we have the Trunks Great Saiyaman unit here. I haven't pulled up, and he is like a summonable unit. Like if they had a banner of like a Halloween banner and they had this guy summonable, like if he had a little bit better stats, like I could see him being a unit that people would pull for.
Yeah, for sure. Like again, because he's free to play, he just has the lower end stats, but just normal ones. Yeah, I agree. Because people, like, when people initially saw his info, I was hearing people saying, like, oh, it was just with, like, way better stats, he'd be better than LRK and Khalifa. I was like, what? Like, people really, like, went crazy when they saw his info.
No, but, like, there's something to that, because, I mean, obviously he's only getting the free-to-play boost from the potential system. But, I mean, just looking at his passive, like, he's getting 140% attack at his max, 49% crit, and then 2 additionals that are just built in, which are not supers, but I mean, that's going to proc the additional from the potential system. And he's free, so there's no reason not to rainbow this guy.
One thing I think a lot of people kind of miss is that normal attacks are fine if they're critting. Like, if you're getting a crit on a normal, it's still going to do, decent damage. Like, even against, like, the Legendary Goku event, like Evolution Blue Vegeta, like, think of him after he transforms and how he gets so much crit from normal attacks, right?
Yeah.
Like, even those normal attacks do decent damage against UI Goku, like, as long as he's getting those crits. So, a unit that does, that's like this, where he has those normal additionals, but it's a 50% chance he'll crit after a few attacks, like, he's going to do some decent damage even at free-to-play.
Yeah, 100%. And the reason why I bring this up is because, I mean, this guy by himself, along with other units similar to him, as a free-to-play team, like, you can bring a team like that into Super Battle Road, into the Legendary Goku event, and you're going to win. Like, you don't need to have a summonable unit on your team to beat these events now. And it wasn't always like that. I mean, when the Legendary Goku event first came out, it was like, how hard was it to beat that event with a free-to-play team? I don't know if you tried it or not.
I think it was possible. I did see, I want to say there was a guy on the Dokkan subreddit who got it done relatively quickly, within maybe a month's time or so.
Yeah.
Obviously, like, every update now, they're giving us defensive stacking free-to-play units, right? Which is making it a lot easier. Now, I don't even think it's really going to be that big of an issue, right? Like, there's just so many strong units that are stacking defense that it's easy. Really, like, the only events in the game that can't be done free to play, like, I guess you could say, like, EZAs, and then, like, specific Super Battle Road stages, but, like, and maybe, like, Battlefield, but, like, that's it. Like, everything else is 100% free to play, all of it.
Yeah, and so that brings up the question again, which people have been asking since the beginning of time for this game, is should we expect to be getting harder events, even harder than what we have right now for Super Battle Road and the Legendary Goku event? Because
I mean, I would say, yeah, they've been, like, giving a lot of different types of events and new stuff constantly. Like, just in 2019, like, people don't like Extreme Z area, but that's something different. The Infinite Dragon Ball history, you in particular, like, were very disappointed by that. But again, that was them trying something different.
Yeah.
We got new Super Battle Road stages. We got the Legendary Goku event, which is the best event they've ever released, and like, these aren't really spread out that far. Like, this is all since, like, May, right? So, like, they're Dokkan, I don't know. Like, Dokkan, for me, they're satisfying me. As, you know, one of the bigger whales out there, I don't have a problem spending crazy money on the game as long as they keep, like, they're doing everything I want them to do, so.
Yeah. In terms of the Dragon Ball History event, like, I didn't really have a problem with that. It was just, like, because they were marketing it as the same thing as the Legendary Goku event in terms of difficulty. Like, they used the same language and stuff, and it was just, like, not... I don't know.
Yeah, I think you said the notice in Japanese was using the same like descriptions as it did for Super Battle and the Legendary Goku event.
Yeah, it was. It was using the exact same sentence.
And then it was not anything like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to knock it too hard because it is fun, and I do still enjoy playing it. It's obviously like a middle ground, I guess. Because it obviously doesn't take as long as the Legendary Goku event does, so it's like, if you're making a video, it's nice to jump in there and just play around. But I think they could, you know, go in and add more stages to that and make harder stages, make easier stages, and I don't know. I just always felt that if they just added like a scaling thing that you could choose your own difficulty for these events, it would just make everything 10 times easier, and we wouldn't have to keep waiting for them to add new stuff for us to really like be satisfied with you know, the difficulty on these events. So I don't know.
In particular, I think like Dokkan events, that's like they really could like give us like a bunch of different options like that. Just like, I don't know, triple the enemy's health. Like, again, just like a slider. Like, you know, their damage scales up, their defense gets higher, like their health bars increase. I feel like that couldn't be that tough to do. So like then you could make like any Dokkan event could be challenging. Even maybe like, you know, the AGL Super Saiyan 3 Goku event or something like that. Like that would be cool if they did that. That would be actually really cool.
Yeah, I mean, because if we look at how difficult Dokkan events are, like they haven't really gotten harder at all since the category leaders first came out. Like if you look at Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta's Dokkan event, is that really easier than like the future Gohan Dokkan event that just came out? And that event came out like almost 2 years ago now.
To me, only a few of the Dokkan events have ever been notable for difficulty. One was UI Goku because he has the kill move, right? So like you have to work around that. And then he was just really strong throughout the end of the event. Jiren was tough because he locks to your positions, right? With that ability.
That's annoying.
And then more recently, the Super Saiyan Goku one, he's actually hard because when he gets into his rage mode, he hits about on the level of a Super Battle Road enemy.
Yeah, and I actually really do like that Goku event because if you're someone who doesn't have the best units, you always have the option of using that item to make it easier.
Easily farmable too.
Yeah, and then for someone like me or like someone who has like a strong like paid team who wants to jump in there and have a bit more of a challenge, I can choose not to use the item and just make it harder for myself. So stuff like that where you have the option of making stuff more difficult for yourself, I feel like it is a lot. Like, it's something the game should strive to do more of. And I don't know. I think that would be cool if they did that. So, we also have the Gotenks Awakening here for the Gotenks and Ghost unit, the Halloween one.
Yep.
In terms of power creep, I don't know if I would really consider this guy to be super powerful. Like, the other one was definitely useful, like in terms of stunning and stuff for Super Battle Road.
Yeah.
But what is your like initial impression on this guy?
So I actually really like all three of the Halloween units because, so the Gotenks, right? I think he's going to be very helpful in both Battlefield and Super Battle Road. So I really like them because, like, if they're going to release a unit that has, like, real viability in, like, one of these difficult modes, especially as a free-to-play unit to help free-to-play players out, then I really do think they're worth it. Because this Gotenks, I remember when his original version came out, I saw a lot of people say, like, oh, you know, with his help, I was able to beat Fusion Super Battle Road for the first time. Like, you know, just that little bit of extra push that this unit would give. And, like, now, you know, he raises attack and defense for one turn, high chance of stunning. The healing is very helpful, especially for Battlefield. That was what I looked at. Like, 7,777 HP healing every Rainbow Orb, and he creates Rainbow Orbs. So I think he's going to be a fantastic Dokkan Battlefield unit. Like, I think he's good. And even, he recovers HP with Candy. Both him and the Candy Vegito do that. Well, there's a fight in Battlefield right now against Fat Boo that, you know, Global's going to get the new fights, sometime in the next couple months. Fat Boo creates Candy. So, like, you know, Candy Vegito and then this Gotenks and Ghost, they'll be able to give you HP recovery in an event where you can't use items, so it's actually incredibly helpful.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm not really sure how much defensively he'll be able to help because his defense stat is not that high. And
yeah, if the enemy can't be stunned, yeah.
Yeah, and in terms of like, because he gives himself 30% attack and defense per Rainbow Orb, so I don't know. He'll be able to tank a decent amount, but I don't think that. I mean, multiplying on top of a base that low is not going to result in something that impressive, in my opinion. But the healing is nice. I don't know. What's he going to get? Like 3 Rainbow Orbs on average, maybe 2.
I would say 3 because he creates them.
Yeah.
So like with LR Kid Goku and Raleigh, I want to say like 3 is usually a common number. So yeah, I'd give him that.
Yeah, so that's pretty good. He gets like 90% attack and defense, plus he heals like what is that, like 22,000 HP, and he has a high chance to stun. That's pretty good. I'll take that. Yeah. I mean, and you could also use those Rainbow Orbs on a different unit if you wanted to in order to get them super attack. So that's useful. Yeah. His links are very good, obviously being a fusion character. So he's good. I will definitely take that. Moving on to the last free unit here, we have Candy Vegito. The original Candy Vegito without his Dokkan Awakening was already good. So
yeah,
I mean, this guy is now a stacking unit, attack and defense. His defense stat is actually very high for a free unit. It's almost 8,000. In the last video, we talked about how the support unit Awakenings had really high defense when they had like 10,000 defense. So I mean, 8,000 is like only 2,000 below that. Take a look at the other units that are coming out. Gotenks is 6,500, and then the Great Saiyaman is 6,900. So this guy has pretty high defense. Plus he's going to stack infinitely. Plus he has a great chance to dodge. So I mean, this guy's perfect for Super Battle Road, right?
Yeah, okay. Of the 3, this one is actually my favorite. Because I think he's going to actually be the most helpful in the difficult events. And then the other thing, too, you don't want to forget is he is shocking speed and over in a flash with his links. That is so big for Tech Vegito Blue. People love Tech Vegito Blue. The greatest. Well, this really helps the Potara team in particular, where now you have another over in a flash unit for Tech Vegito Blue, because that's it, right? Just Candy Vegito. There's not another over in a flash unit on Potara. Right?
Yeah, I believe that's it.
And like now, okay, so like you could do a rotation with this guy in slot 1, amazing at defense, and then Tech Vegito Blue in slot 2, and then, as he super attacks, his defense goes up, so he's not going to take as much damage as if he was in the first slot. So honestly, this Candy Vegito, I think, does help Tech Vegito Blue out quite a bit. And, they have other links, Power Bestowed by God. I guess that's it. But, I mean, that's still enough, right?
Yeah, well, no, he doesn't have Supreme Power. The Vegito Blue doesn't have Supreme Power.
Yeah.
But, I agree, because Tech Vegito Blue, the issue with him was obviously Ki was an issue, and then the second issue was his RNG with super attacking. But that's going to do it for the free units. Now, in terms of power creep for the premium gacha units, I think the last time we did a video like this was when we talked about Kel and Caulifla when they originally came out.
Yep.
And we've since they've come out, we've gotten a bunch of obviously very powerful LR cards. So let me just pull up stuff. Here we have. Let's just go over like a bunch of the LRs that came out since Kel and Caulifla. Okay. LR androids. What are your thoughts?
They are super good. Most people don't even give them a chance. I see the amount of people I've seen calling them mid is insane to me, because the biggest argument I see with them is that they're only limited to the Android team, but no one cares about that when we're talking about Gohan and Goten, who everyone agrees is second best unit in the game. A lot of people think they're the best unit in the game. I don't think that's true, but I do think Gohan and Goten are better than every other unit in the game besides Kale and Caulifla. And but with them, in order to get them to that, you do have to build the team around them. So the androids only being super viable on one team, the android team, I don't think that's really that big of a knock on them, because all new units now are being limited like this. They don't want it's like Evolution Blue Vegeta, right? Who's on 9 category teams, and he's a god on every single 9, one of the 9 teams. Obviously they don't want that anymore. I guess maybe they want you to have to use different units, because people always say I wish we could use multiple copies of the same named units, right? But then it's okay, so then you're going to use Physical Vegito Blue, Tech Vegito Blue, and LR Vegito Blue on the team. You're just going to have a Vegito team, right? So there's certain restrictions in place that they're designing to sort of balance this and actually have you use different units. And so I love the androids. They're doing 2 million to 2.5 million, and then they're also giving 40% attack to the whole rotation. That's not insignificant. That's a big deal. They're very good.
Yeah, I think that also plays into our discussion on your video where we talked about supporting units that also do other stuff like attacking. Like these guys are doing like you said, 2.5 million
that's why the Super Saiyan 4s, I would almost say, it sometimes seems like they're a little bit underrated, is because people forget that they get that every fight, which is, especially in like Super Battle Road, it's so helpful.
Yeah, I agree. And I think like the active skills, the fact that a lot of these new units obviously have active skills or transformations, like it makes them so much better than units that don't have those things. So I think that does contribute a lot to power creep. Like even Gohan and Goten, like their active skill, like it doesn't really activate that often, but when it does, it's like they do like unparalleled amounts of damage with the active skill.
Yeah. I've seen them clear, like 5 million damage easy. Like they hit so freaking hard.
I'd say they easily have the hardest hitting active skill ultimate in the game, because their attack at that point is higher than any other unit when they use their active skill. Yeah.
Because again, so their restriction, it has to be third turn, right? Under 58% HP and then one enemy. So realistically, by that time, they've done at least two attacks minimum most of the time.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And then just to wrap things up, I'm going to look quickly at the Dokkan Fest units that have come out recently. I mean, we had Piccolo. He's stupid. Future Gohan who just came out, who's also really, really stupid. Like, who else? Like, every single unit that's come out has been, like, stupid.
Namek Goku is crazy.
Yeah, he just came out on Global. Like, he's probably my top 3 favorite units to use.
Yeah, I love him. Because Namek Goku is a great design card, I think, because, number one, he's got Prepare for Battle and Shocking Speed, which helps out so much on a lot of those teams.
Yeah.
Especially because he's the leader of the Planet Namek Saga team that helps him out with a lot of the Frieza units who have Shocking Speed. So that's very helpful. And then they made him in a way to where it's very easy for him to hit a 2 million attack stat before he transforms, and he's going to have over 100k defense. So he's very, very solid, even if he doesn't transform. And then if he transforms, he's good in different ways, right? Where he stacks his defense infinitely, and then he also can get that guard, and then, 50% chance to crit with the guard active. Yeah. Very, very strong unit.
Yeah, I mean, and then we could just quickly talk about EZAs that have come out recently. Like, I don't want to make this video too long, but...
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to pull up my list here of EZAs. Like, we just got, on JP... Who did we just get on JP? We got
Kaioken, Blue Goku.
Blue Kaioken Goku, and then if we take a look at what he does, it's like they made this unit pretty much from a 0 to hero.
Yeah.
Plus, we had those 7 EZAs that came out recently. That's the
one that's crazy to me, because Kaioken Blue Goku is a Dokkan Fest exclusive, right? So we expect him to be a certain level of good, but that 7 EZA that they did, we weren't that came out of nowhere, and it's they legitimately turned, I'm looking at it right now. So honestly, that Super Saiyan Goku I think is a top 5 EZA. He has a 70% chance to stun and a 50% chance to crit. So because of that, the best way to build him is 20 additional. So at that point, he has 70% chance to stun, 50% chance to crit, and 40% chance to do a second additional. He is bat insane. It's nuts. And then Metal Cooler is one of the best support units in the game. And then Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta is one of the best defensive units in the game.
And then
these are normal banner units that everyone has bobbed 1,000 times are now legitimately some of the best units in the game in different aspects. It's crazy.
And then don't overlook Nova Shenron.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Okay, when we get LR Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta and LR Omega Shenron, this guy's gonna be right there.
I think LR Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, to me, has the most realistic chance to surpass Kale and Caulifla. Because I think if they have an LR version of a 70% super attack counter character, that's too much. An LR, how much damage is he gonna do on that counter?
It's gonna be the LR Super Saiyan 4 counter.
Yeah, it's okay, so I was about to take 300k damage, but instead Gogeta counters, and he just did a crit for 3 million. That's what it's gonna be like.
Yeah, Nova Shenron's gonna be sitting there too.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's and Nova Shenron, don't forget, also does 1.5 million damage.
Yeah, and his defense is well over 100k as well.
Yeah, again, it's the same thing with the supporting units that also have really high attack.
Yep.
So it's they just do everything. So I mean, as you guys are able to see, I think in the past year or so, maybe a little bit less, maybe past 8 months.
One thing I really quick want to add to EZA is kind of like Kale and Caulifla, right? Mm-hmm. That Janemba has remained the best EZA for almost a full calendar year now, because he came out on JP in December of 2018, and I still think he's easily the king. I think he's the best TUR in the game as of right now. I think he's the best EZA in the game as of right now. And they've let that remain for a very long time. And again, same thing with Kale and Khalifa now. It's been, you know, almost 7 months where they've been the best unit in the game, and they have not been replaced. So
I think a big factor that goes into that, though, is literally just because of the guard against all attacks is so stupid when you compare when you combine that with his stats. Like, if you had an LR that had that ability, like there's a reason we don't have that, right? There's a reason we don't have an LR that has guard against all attacks, because it would
LR Janemba. Again, he's probably gonna be my favorite unit because he'll have guard against all attacks. He might dodge and then, you know, dealing 4 million damage. Like, he's gonna be good.
Yeah. So I mean, the past 8 months we've seen absolutely ridiculous developments in power creep, I think. And I don't know, because we're at a point where we definitely need harder events to do. As we talked about in the beginning of this video, free-to-play units can pretty much clear everything. I mean, they're not going to be tearing everything up like EZA Janemba is, but you know, they're going to be holding their own throughout most of this stuff. So I think that's going to wrap things up. You have any final thoughts you want to add or anything?
I don't know. Going through all this stuff, it just makes me like, I like where Dokkan is going. Like, I like all the stuff they add. Again, these EZA units is like, just imagine if Dokkan didn't have EZA, how much worse it would be. Like, EZA is the best thing they've ever done. Like, that alone is just so crazy to me. Like,
yeah, I mean, Blue Kaga Goku would still be heading for 200k.
Yeah, like, and like normal banner units, like, you know, in Android 13 is actually really good.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, we're getting to the point where I wouldn't say most units have EZA, most banner units have EZAs, but it's like, if you have a really high chance of pulling a random SSR from a banner, and they're really good. So that's also good.
Yep, because all these EZAs and then all the good, like, banner units they've been releasing. So, like, you know, before the guaranteed SSR was a bit of a meme, but now, like, you know, again, probably 7 times out of 10, you're getting a super good unit.
Yeah, completely agree. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Again, this is part 2, so part 1 will be down below in the description, and as well as a pinned comment. And if you guys want to contribute, feel free to leave a comment. I'll try and read through everything, as I am done being busy for work, so I have time to actually go through and read comments now. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next one.